Yeah!
Charlie is under attack.
Hello and welcome to this Warno 3v3 game on Plateau d'Albion, which is a map, and excellent tactical analysis as usual, Hippie. Today we have divisions on the map. We've got Goose playing as 82nd Airborne, Gummy playing as 24th US, and Tactical Tile Placement playing as 1st UK Armoured, and they're going up against Panzer Jaeger spelt wrong, and he's playing as 27Y. These guys don't have a lot of units. I wonder if they'll be planes. Then Russian name, and he's played as 6YA, and Darth Returnus. I wonder what that could possibly stand for. And he's playing as 119Y. So looking at the deployments, we've got Tactical Tile Placement here, already my favourite player. Very good name. And he is unaware that you, instead of holding shift, pressing F, and then with shift held press U, which is what he's done here, you can simply press Y and it will fast move to the position and unload them. He is unaware of that, and so instead he has done hold shift F, hold shift U for every single one of these units here. So hopefully he sees this and hopefully he learns. But hey, if it works, it works. So he's got SAS Patrol going to here. These guys have ground surveillance radar, so they have very good optics. Well, okay, very good is actually at optic level. They have exceptional optics when they're stood still. And he's got one going here. And then he's got Terrier Paris Carl Gustav. And he's put the deployment in the forest. And the trucks are really kind of slow, right? And so that's just a waste of time. You want to do it on the edge of the forest because it's going to slow you down. And it just makes less. You got to take longer to get this resale on these trucks back. So 3 Terrier Paras Carl Gustav, all going, well, 2 in that forest, 1 in this forest. And then Para Rover Milan, which is going to here. I really think he could probably afford to be more aggressive with these Para Rover Milans because they are airborne. Like he could send it to here and then try and get the enemy units as they come in down that road. And Spartan lore 80, so the Scout's lore 80, but the Spartan is just bad. I don't understand why anybody would bring that. I also don't understand why it's 25 points. What's the point? It's got good off-road speed, I guess. I'd just get it in a car, mate. The advantage is that it's got good optics, so then you can send it somewhere, and then it's also got good optics, and you get more recon for your recon. But honestly, I can't be bothered. But no, it might be worth it on that account. And then he's got a scimitar. Behind that, he's got 2 trap rapiers and a challenger and a mortar. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot, and a second challenger. So yeah, if you want to buy heavy tanks, you need to buy loads of AA for them because basically heavy tanks trade poorly against planes in this game. Planes cost about the same, and they can just swoop in and kill a heavy tank, and they've got about the same availability because you got to bring the heavy tanks at 1 vet. And so you get 2 per card, and you get 2 planes per card. And so the planes trade with the heavy tanks, and usually the plane survives. So, and usually the tank doesn't. So you've got to buy loads of AA because it's just always advantageous to just chuck a plane at a heavy tank. You've always got to have the AA. I'd be bringing some javelins as well because tracked rapiers ain't enough. And it would be nice if he had a supply, but he's instead gone for 3 Gazelle rockets. Then, yeah, Challenger Mark 2 going to the same place. So then we've got Gummy. Gummy is sending a Bradley CFE there, which is like, what? I mean, this is the middle. Send it there. And then he's sending some scouts to Sheraton, and once again, this isn't a building. Oh no, this is a building. No, it isn't, because it's not glowing. This isn't a building, he's just unloading it in the middle of nowhere. This is a good place to put it. This one should really be going to here or here. Either will do. And then, so he's got a fob. And he's put it in the forest, which I don't agree with. Because when you right-click with a helicopter to try and land it on this, it's going to spaz out because it's going to try and land it in the forest. Having it on the road makes sense. But you want to put it like behind the forest so that it doesn't get spotted from the front, so that's fair enough. And you could, like, here would be a great spot for it. Basically. Or back here, because it's still on the road. But you've got that advantage. Also, there are trees here, so you could even put it here, you know, but whatever. And then he's got not a lot of units either, so I think he's probably got some planes as well. He might have opened Eagle or something. So we got a fob, and Ito. Ito's actually going to the house, which makes you think, why is that scout going there? I mean, here would work. Here would work. Here would work. The scout. The scout. Mortar, mortar, Ito, Meep, Abrams. So lots of mortars for smoke. He just doesn't seem to have any units. I assume he's open Strike Eagle or something, which you really shouldn't be doing. Because you don't have any targets for the first minute of the game, so why would you open with a bomber if there's nothing to bomb? Unless you've timed your roads, and then you can do a road bombing, but anyway. On the right, we've got Goose, who's talking to me, and yeah, perfect guy to put in the town. This is the better side for the town. In general, I prefer this side of the map. Obviously, Anna's got nice fallback on for red, but just the town, the fact that the buildings go to the edge of the zone here and they don't go to the edge of the zone here means that if blue gets, if blue gets pushed back, he can fall back. But if red gets pushed back, nice big open field and you die. So not fantastic. And he's just got a bunch of airborne and stuff. Who I'm not talking about every single airborne. He's going into the town, bros. Anyway, we've got Darth Vader here, and he's not pathed any of his guys. So he's also not brought any AA. So he's literally just got 4 tanks. He must have some planes. He must have some planes. There's no way that's his whole deployment. And they've put him, the heavy tank player, they've put the heavy tank player in the town. And in general, these guys just have a much, much worse build. Like, you've got an armored guy for the open. You've got a mechanized guy for the mechanized part. A mix of open and closed spaces. Armored can work here as well. And then you've got the airborne guy, the infantry guy for the town, for the infantry town. Whereas these guys have gone heavy tank div, and mechanized kind of div, but yeah, mechanized div, and then heavy tank div. So it's a bad draft basically. Something tells me these guys aren't friends. Anyway, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe they are. Because this guy's not got any units either. He has open fob. He's put it on the road. There is more open space around it. I still would prefer to put it like here. And then the helicopters can very easily have landed it just by right-clicking. These beautiful lavender fields. They've filled in the middle on this one. You can actually see, like, green. Whereas there's one over here where, like, because of the LOS, you don't get that lavender feel. Because you can see the ground between the thing. It doesn't really matter at all. So he's only got 3 units and a fob. So 4. Right. And then we've got... Oh, okay. No, this is just one guy's things. So Spets Gripper A, really good unit. Really good at close quarters. And now it's got a rocket launcher, so it is a really good unit. And they're piling down into Anna. And one of them is trying to get here, which is great, because if you can get it to here, then you can obviously see all the enemy's reinforcements coming in. This is very important. Like, I would honestly say that if you want to secure Anna, securing this is a fundamental part of that, from my limited experience on this map, because the reinforcement roads always bring people down these roads. This one, right, and this one. And so if blue owns this, ATGMs. If red owns this, ATGMs. It's just so useful to have this. And then the enemy has to manually path his guys over here and then send them in, and it's just a total pain, and it takes longer, and they usually don't do it, so all their guys die. So we've got some more units coming in here. Let's just watch the game. So after spending absolutely ages talking about that deployment, I didn't realize that I hadn't actually got it to the end of the deployment, and that's why these guys hadn't bought the rest of their units. So this guy ended up buying some AA. And some Spetsnaz. So this is now going to be a very competitive opener because the Spetsnaz in the town. I still think he'll lose the opener to blue. Panzerjäger here bought a couple more units, but still actually doesn't have that many. So I'm thinking he's got planes. And the 24th player here ended up buying loads more stuff as well. Bought a bunch of infantry. And I'm quite surprised he didn't buy more tanks or Bradleys. Like just infantry, just wheeled infantry to hold... Mustn't have had that many games. So there you go. Now we'll cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. Great way to support the channel. As of February 14th, 2025, I will officially be NEET, unemployed, not in education, employment, or training, hopefully. Well, no, actually, I'll still be finishing the PhD. They just won't be paying me anymore. In fact, they want me to pay them £275 a month just to keep me on their books. So I can afford to pay that thanks to you guys. So this will then be my sole source of income, right? The PhD does pay a little bit. It's like less than minimum wage, basically, but you know, I chose to do it, so I can't complain. So I really do appreciate the support. So we see 2 eagles here from Goose. I think that has really weakened his deployment. And there's no planes or helicopters here, so that is a big investment. Big investment. Over here, you know, Blue has got in first. The Gazelle rockets have fired, and they've done literally nothing. You really need to keep all 6 around to do anything. You see the power of the Gazelle rockets there, literally nothing. I think he could have benefited from like an Igler or something, Javelin. Okay, so MiG-21 Bison AA comes in, straight an SAS patrol. And the track rapiers are too far away to do anything. Tornado F3 out here, great. So this should now circle here. Because basically you want to cover your tanks, because your tanks are really expensive, and they're really slow. And these guys get a really gnarly cluster bomber, which is gnarly, and it gnarls you. So diving with the tornado past the... that was really dumb. For a MiG-21 Bison AA, just diving over the enemy lines. Does he make it out? He does, but he's not... You know, he's not up, and he didn't actually get what he was going for. Over here, we got Panzerjäger helping out his teammate, which is actually really smart. You see, Gummy here has not helped out his teammate. He's just sat there. Whereas, he's helping out a little bit with his Bradley here. Helping out Sov. So, yeah, this is really smart from Panzerjäger, because Goose is basically 2v1, and so that problem we spoke about where he bought those 2 Eagles, which is like 1/3 of your starting points, 560 points out of 1500 on Eagles, that is now really hurting him because he's being 2v1'd. So Gummy should really be counter-attacking. I can hear the sound of a MiG-21 Bison cluster. Oh, here it comes in for the challenges, and the Scimitar gets them both. It dies. I mean, this is basically exactly what we were talking about in the deployment. So that is rough, because that was over 1/3 of his deployment now gone, and now Red can just walk forwards. That is rough, dude. SU here gets an ITO. It's a good kill on that ITO. What you really want to see from 27Y is a bunch of grads. So basically, you stabilize your front line, which he's basically done now. And then you get 2 grads out. So if you've only got 1 fob, you bring both cards of grads and you upvet them, so that you get 2 grads. If you've got 2 fobs, if you're playing with your teammate, I don't know if these 2 are together. I mean, they're attacking in the same place, so maybe they are. Then you get him to bring 1 as well, and then you get 4 grads, and then you grad, right? Obviously, you don't buy all 4 at once. You need to make sure your front line's stable. You buy them 1 at a time. You build it up. You know, buy a minute's worth of units, buy a grad. Buy a minute's worth of units, buy a grad, right? You don't just buy 4 grads for 4 minutes, because then the enemy just walks into you and you die. Darth Regardus is going a bit deep with that MiG-29, but Gummy really should not be diving like this. Like, he's got his own Eagles as well. I feel like the team play from Blue just isn't there. Gummy really should have helped out Goose, really. I mean, so basically, if he had a Bradley kind of stack, he could push here, but he went for just infantry, so his infantry could have been better spent, you know, here and here, essentially. So lots of fighters for Blue. Blue really like their fighters. That Eagle's going to fly over some AA, I reckon. Oh, he's messing up his turning. Darth Regardus hasn't secured Fedor, so Red is on a +2, but they would be on a +3 if he'd secured Fedor, so we'll see if he notices that. Yeah, tactical tower placement, you know, he's in a really rough spot now, because basically this is just a nice open field and then forest, and so it's really difficult to push back in. You need to get recon up to here. Oh, I suppose he's got recon here. And yeah, this is as good a place as any to have stuff. Link's Hellon back there makes sense, but the Tunguska is there to answer it. And, you know, buying the next Challenger before buying any more AA was not very smart. Okay, here comes another MiG-21 Bicyclister, and he didn't buy any more AA, so it'll die, but it'll get its bombs off. So that was 200 points, because, well, no, it wasn't. It was 120 points. I think Warrior Replique's 60, and then the unit's 40. Yeah, so it's 100 points in a card, which is why I made that mistake. You'll have to forgive me. So, yeah, what I'd like to see Red do here is... okay, so Gummy is now moving up with his infantry, and it's going about as well as you might imagine, because they're just infantry in an open field. He tried to send the tank forwards, but it must have been hit by something. Here we go, Grad purchase for Panzerjäger. Great spot for it, great spot for it. Lots of MP patrol there. And they're getting dunzoed. It's difficult to keep track of everything. Like, Russian name here seems to have done very well for himself. And, yeah. Over here, you know, Panzerjäger, he did well. He took this zone, and he's resisted this attack. The thing is, right, and this needs saying, is that, you know, this guy's KD is probably going to be alright, and then it will look like he did well and his teammates let him down because they'll have bad KDs. But the reason they have... I mean, this guy just lost a 1v1. But the reason this guy will have a bad KD is because he got 2v1'd while this guy was just sitting here. So it's something that needs to be said. The game doesn't really have a way of pointing out when you have 0 game impact and you're the reason your team loses. So there you go, MiG-21 Bison almost intercepted there, but the Bucks hit the Tornado. Well, okay, it was intercepted, but it wasn't killed. And the Tornado actually goes down. You only get 2 of those in a card, so that's the end of his Tornadoes. Because he lost the last... No, actually, I think it survived, right? I think it survived. Yeah, it did. So it would be great to see, like, a game impact screen where it just tots up your total kills and losses, just adds them together, and then divides it by the total kills and losses on your team. And then this is your game impact, right? Because if you've got, like, a positive KD, but, like, you know, 100 kills, 10 deaths or something, then obviously you've done nothing, and your team has lost because of you. So that would be nice, because the game is essentially incentivizing people to not help their teammates, because if you overextend to help your teammate, you get a bad KD, and then they flame you. And the game doesn't really have a way of describing the fact that, listen, you actually did the right thing there. So it disincentivizes you to act properly, which is not fantastic. What can I say? So, on the flip side, you know, this Panzerjäger guy, he's done really well for himself. He's helped his teammate out. He took this zone, and then he resisted the sort of somewhat lethargic counter push from Gummy. And now, if I was in his position, I'd just focus on securing this properly, because they're never getting through here with what they've got. You know, taking this forest is very important as well, because, you know, the reinforcements come down here. So if you can get that, if you can get this, you can see into this zone, which he was doing. He was seeing. Another thing you could do is, like, so I don't know if these guys are team, as in, like, if they know each other. The guy with the Bucks should really be in, like, the middle. Obviously, he wants the Bucks to defend his ground, but the way you can fix that is put 6YA in the middle of the map, or whoever's got the Bucks, because look at the range on the Buck. Half of it's over here. It's wasted. Whereas if you've got it in the middle of the map, you can help cover your teammates, and yeah, you're helping your teammates out there. So I would have swapped the 27Y player and the 6Y player. And then also the 6Y player could, because 119Y doesn't get long range, and he's still not secured this. They don't get long range AA, so it would be really useful. Like 27Y doesn't get long range AA either, I think. They don't, yeah, they get Tors, right, and Tunguskas, and so this guy's got the best AA on his team, and they've put him in the corner where he can't help. Whereas if he was in the middle, his Bucks would be helping his teammates. So just something to consider. Never, ever, ever buy Gvozdika. What a waste of money. Basically, the 122s just don't do anything. They just don't do anything. whereas this is 152. It does a lot more. You might say it's only a difference of 1 HE. The real problem is with the splash. Lower caliber artillery has a very bad splash. Obviously, there's nothing there. So he's just being the ATGM, right, goes further, and so it just spends more time missing, which makes it worse. And because the range is less, its dispersion circle gets wider if they're both as far away as each other. And like they're just too expensive for what they are. The way I would fix it is I would drastically increase the splash on artillery, and if that then makes them too OP, reduce the base HE. What that would do is make artillery more consistent. It wouldn't be miss, 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 dead, right? It would be some damage, some damage, some damage, because your near misses would deal damage as opposed to just nothing, 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 headshot, you know. So over here, you know, tactical tile placement has not managed to push back in. He's still not bought any more AA. Just content to just get blown up. I guess he probably only had 1 card of tornadoes. I always bring my first with 2 cards of tornadoes because the tornado's bad, and you need as many of them as you can get. Honestly, a great way to solve air spam would be to make fighters cheaper. I do like this though. You see this mortar, it's smoking that, and that's allowing this to move over. The question is, what's the point? Really, you need some recon for your tanks. Recon with your tanks. Can be a scimitar or whatever. You just press it, press F, press on your tanks. Never buy this napalm plane, it's terrible. And here we go. Okay, so Panzerjäger, he's moving in. He's got the sappers on the airborne. And yeah, this is very intelligent. You know, you should try and secure this. That is dodging TOW 2s there. Interesting. This T-80BV's got a lot of value out of it. Nothing's really happening over there. Nothing's really happening here. Yeah, I mean, the mid is where it's to be. I don't think this is a good idea at all. And yeah, he pays the price for that. That was not a good idea. Really shouldn't be doing that. Just diving the whole line for an Apache. There's no point. I mean, if it's shooting you, sure. If it's like actually going in on your tanks and you're doing a push and you need it gone, you can dive it. But otherwise, you're just taking an unnecessary risk. This has 3,000 meters range. You just stick it with your tank, make sure your tank's in front, because the tank will take the hits from whatever's there, and then this can shoot this, you know, it outranges it. 2,800, 3,000, so you've got that capability. Using manpads in your push as well is very, very useful. So, yeah, I mean, blue, you know, he's trying to get back in, but he doesn't really have the recon. Is that going to get... That got side shot there. So, if I was in blue's position, I wouldn't be trying to push here with guys to the left of me and jokers to the right, and here I am stuck in the middle with you. I'd be pushing up to here, right? And then trying to get into here. Obviously, you've got to try and get somebody here, because there might be somebody here. Then you try and get into here, and then at least your back's to the wall, as opposed to just coming in and getting hit from multiple directions. Yeah. What can I say? We've not really seen a lot of gradening. I mean, you bought the fob, right? You want to use it. Is that T80 still alive? Yeah, he's got good value out of this. And look, he's taken this now. So now, my idea would be to secure this. Because if you get somebody up to here, you can basically see them coming in if they use this road. If they use this one, you can't really. Well, if you put an ATGM there, you can see them. And you can shoot them if you put an ATGM there. Yeah, because that's 2,500, so you can shoot that road here. And then you get your infin here, and you take this, because this is the easiest zone to take, right? Whereas trying to take Sheraton is not easy because it's a big open field, and it's further away. But yeah, taking this forest is very important, because you need to bring some supply up, right? But once that happens, get this tank up there, and then you can basically shoot into the entire zone, which does actually make taking it very easy. Same on this side, you can shoot across to here, so it helps you take this. Darth Regardless is really living up to his name, I gotta tell you. He's not like unloading his vehicles and stuff. Red taking some heavy losses here. There was a sprut here and it's dead. So he's spotted the fact that there's no Chaparral here because he's got recon, and that's the power of the recon, and he's using his co-cons, which are pretty scary now. Lots of air cav troopers, they're a bit piled up. There's no rockets left on this, but it's not great. This could go for this. It is a bit overextended. Like the AA, like this really needs to be up here. Because you're up here and you know you've not got your AA with it. So I just sorry, I have very itchy face. I don't know what's wrong with me these days. I think it's a stress response. But I'm strong. I'm not weak. So tornado, bomber, run. Sort of both landed on the same place, so the guys actually survived then. And like this book is moving after every shot, which is good for red. Because I was going to say you should try and get that. Like this has been purchased and it's not been used once. But yeah, as long as blue continues to just run into the red cauldron, they're gonna get cooked. He needs to try and push from here. It's just it takes so long to get guys over there, but you can pretty easily if all these guys were over here, you know, you could pretty easily run over there and your tanks would shoot this tank, right? You could even use your bomber maybe because you're coming in from the side or whatever. Yeah, so bombers on Panzerjäger here. Like I said, the Strela was a bit out of position. It does lose some guys there. Not sure if that seed was from Gummy as well and it just went the wrong way or something. You really should, like, people always do this, like, oh, the enemy fighter's gone, I'll evac. Don't. If you've still got all your missiles, keep your guy in and just hold shift and just right-click, 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 right-click. And then your thing stays up. Not only does it give you air optics, which helps you see the enemy fighters, but it also, you know, it's closer to engage. And the bigger the map, the more important it is to have your fighter near the front line, because if it's further away, then, you know, if you're calling it in from the back of the map, then it's not great. So that airborne's having a really bad time. It doesn't help that he basically just walked through the field instead of like going into this building and then going back or something. This is one hell of a way to take a zone. We see Imp CV marked here, and frankly I can only agree, because there are 3 CVs here. Why? Just send one. But yeah, we see Darth Regardless doesn't really like zone control, as we saw here. You know, Russian name had to sort him out. So yeah, you could very easily just send this over here. Just a waste of resources, really. It's not doing it. That is a very good target, but he missed twice. I mean, it just wasn't really worth it. I guess he probably thought there was no way. No, actually, he knew about the Stinger and the Chaparral, I think. No, he didn't know about the Chaparral. Okay. There's always that tendency to just dive. I mean, to be honest, it was probably reasonable. And this guy's still not brought any AA. Still not brought any more AA. He's actually started losing tracked rapiers to MiG twisters, it seems. Because there was one here that died, and I assume that must have been the last one. And then he surrendered. So there you go, tactical tile placement. He had the best name, but he didn't have the best skills. You hate to see it. So that, I assume, is going to start a chain route. Like, this CV plane come in. Yeah, he surrenders. And I assume it's going to end now, because... Okay, no. Looks like Goose wants to hang about. We'll just speed it up. I mean, I feel it's reasonable if it's literally just AI to just speed it up. So we'll focus on what's happening over here now. We'll see how Goose has his last stand. You'd expect to see, here we go, so Russian name has just bought another CV for that. He could have just sent this one because Darth Regardless, you know, he's got all these CVs, but he doesn't want to share. Doesn't want to share. Oh, here comes the F-16 ATs. I assume they would go on this. Maybe he can't see it. Guess he... Sorry, I've just got the hiccups. Guess he couldn't see it. So, you know, that this grad would be perfect here, because he knows they're about here. Like, he could move forwards and, like, oh, there they are. Or he could just know. Oh, there you go, the napalm. The napalm. The plane that I said was useless. The napalm plane. Got it. Wow. Hippie must be a wronger. Over here, Panzerjäger's attacking here. I honestly would prioritize this. And then come over here. And, you know, Russian name. He's not really got anywhere to go. He could come over here, I suppose. Or he could just spend here and try and fight here. Certainly, like, he could have had more MiG-31s out. Blimey. There's a lot of planes. A lot of planes. But, yeah, what can I say? The Mega Blob, as soon as it finds the airborne leader, the Mega Blob will blob its way over there. Looks like they're going this way. He doesn't have recon in it. No, he's got one there. So, oh, did he spot the yeah, I think he's going to see it. he saw it because it fired at AT maybe. So there you go. The Mega Blob has discovered the airborne leader. The airborne leader should now get Giga Blobbed. What can I say? A lot of mistakes were made. But that's, you know, it's a lot easier for me to stand here and say, oh, they made a mistake. Obviously, when I'm playing, I make loads of mistakes. But yeah, I think the key takeaway is, look, you're playing a team game. Help your team. I know the game doesn't reward you for doing it. Well, it rewards you in that you might win, but your KD is going to look bad and so on. But you see that Panzerjäger, that I think it really came down to that. Really, he could have just sat there like Goose did, and just let these guys duke it out, and let these guys duke it out. But instead, he helped out Darth Regardus here, and then they took this zone, and that was the key to the victory. Really, I'd say, or at least it mattered a lot. So, yeah, I mean, GG. Looks like Goose is gonna talk to me from his F-14. Hopefully nothing bad happens. And there you go. So yeah, GG. And you see, he got the most command score, so they, you know, the game does reward him, I suppose. Russian name, 400 games. Panzerjäger, 400 games. Darth Brigadus, 15 games. This guy actually played very well for a guy with 15 games. I do wonder if he's reset this. Played very well for a guy with 15 games, actually. Yeah. I think I was a bit too harsh on him. I mean, 15 games, wow. And this was Goose, 361. Tactical Tile Placement, 534. And Gummy with 208. So, yeah, GG. In terms of, you know, the KD and stuff, yeah, that Strela 10 M3, it's a good piece of kit. What can I say? Do let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one. GG.